Hello, and welcome to the DM's Book Club, a weekly podcast where we talk about some Dungeons and Dragons and how you can fit it into your role-playing campaigns. I am here at a ungodly hour for poor Fiona, I will say, so please bear with her. She deserves all of your care and attention through this struggling time of daylight saving times.
Yes, I am dying of consumption. That's what's happening. Yes, daylight savings is back in full force.
We had a nice month.
I enjoyed my little lie-in, and now it's like, oh no. And as I was saying off recording to Hamilton, it's like, I have a wonderful cat in my life who decides when I get up now, and
It's not human time, that's for sure.
It's definitely not human time. So yes, but I'm glad to be here. Have you been, Hamilton? What have you been up to in the last couple of times since I've seen you?
You know what? I had a really big job to do this weekend in the garden, and I had to take up a deck because the people who built it didn't build it with treated timber, as I'm finding out as I slowly reveal my deck, which is just all rotten wood, which I'm really upset about, but it's fine. So that was a whole weekend. So what I did is I thought, you know what? I need a good audiobook to listen to whilst I'm doing this. And I thought Project Hail Mary's coming out in the cinema. I haven't read that book yet. I obviously think this would be cool. So I was listening to that. So I'm now hooked on the story.
How exciting.
It's very light. You know, it's very pop sci-fi stuff, like meeting aliens and all the great stuff, you know, very much like Apollo 13 sort of engineering and all that sort of fun thing. So I'm really enjoying it. You know, so yeah, I've been listening to that. So that's been my fun. That's been the fun thing to take away from the hard labor that has been this weekend.
I can imagine. Yeah, I also have been audiobooking as well. I'm trying to read more stuff. So I'm currently in the middle of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which I think everyone seems to be talking about just now. But it's one of those things where I will say, I think the covers are rubbish, and the original covers are like, they evoke a certain style, but they've got some new covers now which look really nice, like some like poppy colours. But the old covers that are still on the audiobooks, and I'm just like, ugh, horrible.
Like I like the yellow and red ones.
Yes.
Oh, I see the old ones look really bad.
Yes, yeah,
yeah. The ones with the sort of like cartoony
ones versus the actual like really cool on. Yes, yeah. I mean obviously it tells a story in the picture, but and essentially it's supposed to be like high fantasy, but actually it is a sci-fi book. Essentially Carl is mid-30s, his girlfriend's broken up with him, and one night he's outside looking for his ex-girlfriend's cat when the whole world basically has a Vogon invasion, and they change the world into this big mega dungeon, and only those who can get to the whatever floor in the dungeon can reclaim the world. And he's got not much choice because obviously everyone's either dead or they're also fighting for survival. So it's a mixture of like Hunger Games, it's a mixture. Is it the best thing ever written? Does it give me like a cool agenda, and like does it show things in a different light that me as a woman who's into sci-fi and fantasy changes my worldview? No. But I really appreciate several things about it. One is that there's like this sort of meta commentary about gaming and about organizations and worlds and streaming services and like sponsorships and all that sort of thing, because obviously these aliens will sponsor various crawlers and they'll get to go on TV shows and just that horrible sort of lifestyle. There's also like a system AI which comes up, and it's very much in the style of that Borderlands/Fallout humor, where it's like, you'll do something, it goes like, new achievement, you are a goblin killer. This only opens under a reward. Well, you get a golden chest box, you know. And it's again, because I'm listening to it, the guy who narrates it is really good.
Oh, good.
It's a mixture of very easy listening because you can drop in and drop out and be like, oh, something's happening or not. And the characters feel very real. And I think the big thing for me is that all the creatures and people you meet, they all feel very alien/fantasy races. So you'll have like changelings, or you'll have like Aarakocra type people, or goblin. Like they are all described as like different lineages. And I really have Carl at the middle of this, who's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. It feels very Arthur Dent in a way, but so it's not very British. It's very the American way of it. And I've actually been really enjoying it.
So the American version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, but a bit more action packed and.
Well, there you go.
There's a lot of min maxing in places as well, which again, no problem about. But yeah, I definitely would recommend that on audiobook.
Cool. All right, that's good.
But enough about our audiobook recommendations, Hamilton. I have a different kind of episode for us today. It's been a while since we've done one, which is like, hey, why don't we just chat and do some writing prompts and like discuss things? And recently I interviewed Dylan Apelian and James D'Amato about their new book, which is the Ultimate RPG Villain Backstory Guide, which we have done, I think we've talked about their books before. I know I've done it before.
Yeah, we did another one.
Yeah, so I thought we'd do one for us because we really liked villains. I remember one of our early episodes together, we talked about villains and how to create good villains and stuff like that. And here, what they've done is they've created a whole book which has these different kinds of prompts or rolling tables and all of a sudden to create a good archetypal villain, not just for you as a GM, but also if you're a player and you want to play like an antagonistic player, but how to make them more as a team player. So I thought,
that's interesting.
Right up our streets, essentially. I know it's been a while since we talked about villains, but yeah, any initial thoughts before we go into it?
I think what we've said before is I think villains are really fun to make because they have the intrinsic quality that they have turned to evil deeds or to a deed that is seen as in the main antagonistic to a certain people's or group of people or to one person. And so there's always going to be something inherently interesting in that facet of them. Like, why have they turned this way? Why have they gone this way? Even if the simple fact that they're just sociopaths, but there's something fascinating about that in that sort of sense, right? And the sort of like lack of empathy being a kind of hard concept to justify or understand, if you have empathy yourself. So it's kind of like there's something to that, but also if it's like, why have they turned this way? Is it because they've got guilt or they've got regret or they've got an anger towards someone, or if it's some other trauma, or what is it that then makes them interesting? And then in that sense, interesting in a wider context of the word. And I guess also in the sense of, there is, I think in media, the villain has predominantly been portrayed as something a lot of the times of flamboyant, and it's always that line that you can play with about, are you on their side? If you can find a good villain, I always find is the one that you can sort of understand their reasoning. Like there is a logic potentially to why they're doing what they're doing, and therefore they have that itch upon the hero character or your party where they're so close to maybe being on the same side sometimes. That's the more interesting villains I find, where it's like I could kind of like turn to your side if you just weren't doing all the bad bit, do you know what I mean? Or something along those lines. Or maybe even you can convince them, like that's the whole hero's journey temptation of the dark side, and like Luke so closely goes to the dark side, and it happens to Skywalker, it's with Anakin. So like those things are inherently something that is fun to play around with in fiction. So I guess that's why they're very interesting sometimes.
I agree. It is like that. They could be a hero character if they chose a different path. So yeah, I was just, as you were talking, I think about like, the sort of like you have Batman and Joker, right, who are kind of two sides of the same coin, but like Batman easily could have become a villain. Superman could easily become a villain, but they chose not to.
I always think the good one is Magneto. Because Magneto has like such a backstory, and is fighting on behalf of his peoples that are being oppressed by humanity. Exactly. And so like you kind of and he's taken the sort of like anarchist route of it, of like, these people are killing my people. I will fight back with equal power, and I am ultimately more powerful than them. And that's why people in X-Men switch sides, because they don't agree with Professor X's his way of going about things. So I think that's always a really good example of like, I kind of get it, I hate Nazis too. Do you know what I mean? And so does Magneto, and he wants to, and he goes around sorting that out. So you're kind of like, and he's been through all that. So there's kind of an understanding there, but at the same time, he has questionable ways of going about
methods and means.
Methods, that's
absolutely.
what I thought. Yeah.
So this book, I think, is going to be interesting because it talks about it goes into a little bit of detail about like how important backstory is. And of course, the Ultimate RPG series talks about backstory a lot, right? So I think it comes from a good, solid foundation. And so what we're going to do for this is that there are 5 categories. And from my talk with Dylan and James, they said, like, you could take a category and you could do all the exercises. You could have like almost like a little amuse-bouche all scattered throughout. What I thought we'd do, because again, just thinking of time and like interest as well, but like this is like let's dip our toes in, is that I'm going to ask you to pick one of the categories, because there's 5 sort of broad categories for villain. We'll talk about that a little bit. I can give you some examples. And then we're going to do from that category, there's something at the top called Style Guide, which gives you an idea of how they look, their distinctive look, and like maybe how they got certain things, whether it's a scar, whether it's like a small trinket or something like that. And then, if we've got time, we'll do something which is like a 5 things about them type thing. And it could be, if it was like the believer class, it might be like 5 convictions that they got, or the upper is like 5 things they actually have, all that sort of thing. And we'll just see how far we go, really. And because I assume, because there's 2 of us doing it, we'll get very excited and we'll be like, oh yes, anding to the moon, and we've only done question 1, so which is not a problem. It's
totally
just
happened before,
it's happened before. So the 5 archetypes are, we've got the outlaw, which are specifically, they are villains because of their illegal activity and separation from society. So think of stuff like highwaymen, smugglers, assassins, any sort of evildoers that have a criminal reputation. Then we have leaders. Leaders are villains because they command people and manipulate laws to achieve villainous ends. They might be a physical threat on their own, but most of their power is derived from their ability to command others. We then have believers. These are villains who draw power and authority mostly through systems of belief. It can come from holding a position within an organized faith, like a priest, but it also can come from a cult of personality. They don't have to be religious figures. They can be con artists and so on and so forth. You have the opulent. These are characters who make themselves villains by using tremendous excess of wealth for evil. Whilst many of the powerful villain types can be wealthy, the opulent makes wealth itself into an act of evil. They corrupt the world, putting peace, safety, and lives at risk by simply owning what they own and pursuing more of it. And then finally, we have the supernatural. These villains are deeply enmeshed with dark powers within and beyond the world. Their version of evil is more elemental and less grounded than the other villain types. And whilst they may call on dark powers to further their evil agendas, the supernatural villain has almost completely given themselves over to it.
Interesting.
So there you go. Those are the 5 types here. Is there any one that points out to you, or one you'd like to try, just thinking about it?
I'm kind of tempted to just roll for it, but I'm also, I don't know. I think...
Oh, we can roll for it, absolutely.
I think it's okay, as I can see something interesting in all of them.
Yeah. So roll a d6 and we'll re-roll the 6.
Oh, I can roll a d10 and halve it if you want.
Sure. Either way.
Just because I got a d10 ready. That's
I like that you were ready. You were ready. I was like, well, I was not ready.
I got a 2.
A 2. So I will just do 1 and 2. So we'll do that first one of outlaws.
Okay, cool.
They are usually openly pursued by forces of justice in their settings. These villains split the difference between being pushed into the shadows and fringes to avoid being captured by the law and having so much money, influence, and power that they are near untouchable. The difference between an outlaw and many of the other villain types featured in this book is that outlaws depend on an explicitly unlawful activity to give them power. Even if they have legitimate appearing interests, it is all a thin veneer to cover the criminal heart. So it's got some like touchstones.
Okay.
So in terms of tropes, think of stuff like a mafia boss, a smuggler. It says here petty supervillain, but I was like, we are looking at villains. So I don't know exactly. But like arms dealer, bandit leader. And then from media, I've got some media touchdowns. So think like Heisenberg from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Professor Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes. The Punisher from Marvel Comic Heroes, which is kind of an anti-hero here.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 people that I don't know. So I rip up my my nerd card, but there's someone called Tuco from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Cade Bane from Star Wars.
Okay, well, I know Tuco from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I've seen that movie.
Oh, there you go. I think we can play with something there. So that sounds good.
I mean, in a D&D trope, I think of Jarl Axel is like the person that comes to mind with that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, head of the Bregan Darth. But yeah, I think, okay. All right, so that's what we're going with. So an outlaw villain. Okay.
So we'll start off with the style guide. So each of these like archetypes has a style guide where we like pick a few things and then try and give some backstory to it. So it says here for the outlaw, every villain benefits from having a distinctive look. This style guide will help you decorate your outlaw with 4 distinct elements that will help them stand out. So the first one is accent feature, which is a scar. This is a physical symbol of a more openly violent past. It may have healed over, and you may claim that the past is behind you, but the scar is always there to remind the world of your history with brutality. And then it says, choose a highly visible place for the scar to be. Your face, hands, neck, head, etc. And then answer the following questions below. And we have like choose 2 sort of like things going on. Right. So let's start with location. So don't worry about what the scar is necessarily, but where do you think it would be obvious, like this scar would be on this individual?
I immediately went for hands for some reason. That's just where I went to.
Yeah, I always think like maybe the idea of a scar over the eye is always overused in things. So I like the idea of having like something on your hand which you only see at the last minute
in the palm. So like you don't see it very often, and then when they like open their hand, you see like this slice just like on their hand, or like in the shape of an eye or something like that on their hand.
It's kind of like you only see it if you do deals with them. You're about to shake on something.
Or that's feel cool. It when you do that. Exactly.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, the texture of it. That's quite fun. So this scar is, and we'll choose 2 here, permanently discolored, jagged and messy, accentuated by stitch marks, more flattering than disfiguring, or constantly painful.
I like the idea that it is jagged because of the texture. I've now got that idea of texture, but I also like the idea that they're constantly like, you don't see their hand, but they're constantly sort of doing that with their hand,
holding
like
it,
rubbing against it, rubbing it with their thumb.
As in thoughts that are fidgeting with it. Yes.
Yeah, they fidget with it whenever they're like discussing something, and you never see what's in that hand. They kind of just like keep it closed, and then they might rub it, and then they keep it closed. And it's only certain moment you might notice it's there.
But we could easily say like, oh, they hide it with gloves or something like that, but they don't. I think because we see it, at that sort of moment, and they feel it. Maybe they have to feel that pain, and the roughness about it. I like that a lot.
Maybe it's like a tell in some ways, and something like that. I don't know, or they use it as a pretend tell or something. I don't know.
Instantly for us as GMs, we can use that sort of that motion, that hand to get into this character. I like a lot. The second part is the person who gave the scar to you, and we choose 2, is celebrated as a hero, was killed by your own hands, has a scar of their own, was once very close to you, can't escape you forever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like the idea that they died and the villain regrets it still, even though they were seen by others as a hero. So as in like, it was kind of, maybe it was like the moment they had to make a decision to either become villainous or not. And they chose that moment to go to the dark side of whatever they're doing, right? And that's why they remind themselves by touching it, because it's like it's a regret and a guilt, but they knew they had to do it in order to achieve what they're trying to achieve, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're saying that person who gave the scar is a hero, or was a hero?
Could be considered a hero. I don't know if they're necessarily a hero, but as in like potentially if they had convinced them or whatever, I don't quite know yet, obviously, but like if they had made a different choice, that they then got this scar, and they had to make a reaction, and they made the reaction that chose the darker side or something like that. I don't know.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. So we say it's celebrated as a hero, quotation marks.
Yeah.
Do you think they were killed by your own hands then? Or
That's
have a scar of their own? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the case. Or at least they think they're dead.
Yeah.
We could always do the whole comic book. They're probably dead.
They're probably dead, but who knows? Yeah.
Exactly. But it kind of, that's why it reminds them of it. So that's why they kind of regret. Maybe they still regret the death potentially, or they have to convince themselves of it at some point.
We can put a pin in that for now, because that's a cool way. Because I do like that idea of like they were killed by your own hands, but you still have, you constantly still think about that moment, or even subconsciously, Then we have sort of a more talky prompt sort of one where it says, this scar has in some way become associated with your identity. Does it manifest in a nickname, symbol, or concealing accessory? So presumably concealing accessory would be a glove, which I'm not too fussed about the glove per se. What do you think?
I've just had an idea though.
Yeah?
The scar is like a blood brother scar, right?
Ooh, yeah.
right? And then the person that was their blood brother, they had to kill because they didn't want to go the way they wanted to go. And they decided that either they were going to give up the secrets, or they were going to give up the thing, or they were going to give up the dream of becoming the gang lords, or whatever it is that they're going to be. And so it was like, or they betrayed them. They betrayed them by ratting them out to the police, or they became someone, so potentially could be seen as a hero because they tried to stop what this person was doing, but they were once like blood brothers, or it was some sort of ritual thing that they did.
I love the idea that maybe that they did run together, these two individuals, as again, as close as siblings, right? Which kind of leads on that whole thing. Was like was once very close to you, but like they maybe turned from the path at the last moment because they wanted to have their own family, or realize what they were doing was wrong, and so then it's seen as a hero, even though they probably did some things which also were not savory. This mysterious other person that's passed away. I like that. So then, how does this scar on the hand, if it's sort of jagged, how does it manifest in like a nickname or a symbol, or like? We don't have to overthink it too much, but like I think we've talked about it, how it's for that identity is like, I like the idea because I talked about that handshake thing, is like you feel the roughness of a hand, so maybe the rough hand as a nickname. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. It feels a bit weird. I don't know.
I don't know if it, and maybe it's never talked about, and that's the point. You never talk about it. Like if you mention it, it's a big no. Like if you don't know them and you then start mentioning it, people will give you a look to kind of indicate that this is something that's not talked about, and no one talks about it because it's clearly a subject that can set them off. Do you know what I mean?
It's a sensitive, like it's a proper like open nerve for this person.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe the silent hand. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I do like the idea that everything is done on a handshake, and it's like my word is my bond and stuff like that, and because it goes to that blood brothers thing, right, as well, like that idea of like my blood is my bond, and someone betrayed me, and now I wear that betrayal on my hand. That's cool. I like that a lot.
Maybe he calls it like, I don't know, thinking like a rat scar or something like that, or like sign of the rat or something like that. It's like that's maybe what he calls it. Like, what is that? The sign of the rat, and that's kind of what it is. It's like to remind me, like to never trust anyone or something like that.
Never trust a rat or something like that. Never trust, like
I've been scarred by a rat before.
I've been bitten before or something.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, scar bite or something, or like rat bite or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. But stuff to think about. Like again, we jot all these down, and then he doesn't. It's just a way to think about stuff. I think it's good.
Maybe he's got. Oh, okay, right. It's got on the scar cuts down. I'm drawing a line sort of from between my spot. If I'm doing a Spock hand, down the middle of my two middle fingers, and there's like the scar jags down, and then he's got the tattoo of a rat with the tail being the scar.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Like that. Just try to cover it up a little bit, perhaps,
or just to kind of like. Very on the nose, but it's like it's the scar of the rat. It's the rat tail. Rat's tail.
What about your scar is forbidden for most people close to you? Who do you allow to interact with your scar in ways that no others can?
Maybe there's like allowed to like rub salve into it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a thing. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, like a healing salve. No one else can.
Obviously, you shake hand, like a healing salve that is like placed upon it. The other one I had was slightly darker. Is that they actually recut the scar every day by someone else, and they let someone do that to like reopen the wound consistently, so it's constantly never fully heals.
Interesting. I like both of those. I do like the idea because I was like, how else do you interact with someone's scar? Could be both, couldn't it? Yeah. I like the healing salve one because I think that shows a not a weaker side, that's what I mean, but like a more unusual side. So maybe a second in command or something is the only one this person trusts to like put the healing salve on. No one else is allowed to touch it. Only you're the one that puts out your hand to shake on stuff.
Or maybe they don't shake with that hand. Maybe they don't shake with that hand then. Or maybe they do. No, they do to remind people of what happens to them if they ever like break a seal, right?
Yeah.
And then but otherwise no one ever interacts with it apart from one person who like maybe they cut it. They physically cut it themselves, and then they don't even like it's done at the end of the day, and without a sentence being spoken, they then lean their hand out for someone to come along and heal it. So like,
that's interesting. So
they cut their own scar.
They cut their own
right,
scar to blood brothers it, essentially.
And then they just lean their hand out and someone comes to heal it again.
Yes.
Because I'm imagining this may be a magical world or something like that. So it's like, or even if it's not, but it's this kind of idea that it's constantly recut every day and healed every day.
Again, this is interesting about the book, is that we could do like this beginning style guide and go, oh, actually, we want to do more magical stuff. Maybe go to the supernatural a little bit, because it could be blood magic that we're doing here.
Yeah.
All right, moving on then to the next thing, which is a lucky object. This is a small and unassuming thing that you carry with you almost everywhere. There's something you fidget or idly touch throughout your day. Most people find it unassuming because, and you choose two here, it is damaged or incomplete in some way. It is a fairly common object with a very narrow set of uses. It has little monetary value. Most people lack the skill or insight to put it to use. It is small and easy to conceal. And weirdly, we've already talked about like something like touching wise, but a lucky object of some sort. What do you think?
That is a good question. Why don't you come up with something? Why
don't you do it? You do it.
You do it. I just feel like I've taken a lot of this, so like I want you to take it.
No. I appreciate it. I always think of lucky objects being like a pendant or a ring or some sort of jewelry is what my go-to is. So let's say it's a pendant of some sort. And I would say that it's damaged in some way. It's a locket, right? And it's damaged in some way because it doesn't have the door on it anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of open a little bit. Maybe it's not, they hide it, tuck it beneath their shirt. And yeah, so I think it's just, keep it simple, it is damaged and it's small and easy to conceal.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily see what's in the locket. Maybe it's a picture of this other blood brother type person, maybe if they were close, or something else. Maybe it's just like that sort of like just a thing they have, it's like their symbol. Maybe it is just a picture of a rat. I don't know. We can go through all these.
What if it's something? I'm kind of thinking like, let's think more Fiona and Gory about this. Like, what
it's
if
a finger?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Is it like, could it be something? Could it just be something like that? Like, I don't know. Maybe like,
when I think of outlaw, I always think of cowboys. Maybe it's like a bullet with your name on it, or something like that. Right. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, maybe it is the bullet that killed the person, right? And it looks like maybe it's been carved with like intricate detail, so it looks like it could be something like a dangling pendant that's kind of beautifully inlaid, and then when you really look at it, you realize, wait a minute, is that a bullet?
Yeah.
Is that, like maybe it's got stuff around it, or it's in a locket, as you said, and it's like, I don't know, and so that's kind of why at first you're not quite sure.
It's incomplete in some way, means it's a spent bullet for sure. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just a casing.
Let's do the second part of this. It says, when you hold it, you can't help but, and then two options. Bring it up in conversation, compulsively open and close it, toss it in the air and catch it, spin or roll it across available surfaces, use it to inform your decisions.
I want it to be magical.
Yeah? The magic bullet? Or magic something like, I'm thinking maybe is it, oh God, I can never remember their name, but the Guardians from the Galaxy person who whistles and the arrow.
Yes.
Maybe something like that. A whistling bullet, perhaps. I don't know.
Okay. I like that.
I do like the idea of spinning it. Like it's on
that's what making me think. You take it out, put it in the chamber of a gun and spin the gun.
Spin it. Right. I was thinking on the table, but yeah, I like that where you spin it and then you do like a Russian roulette type thing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Someone did that though. There's a lot of villains that do that. So that's kind of like quite...
It doesn't matter. Remember, we don't have to be unique in anything.
Okay, well, how about this though? They don't Russian roulette it with themselves. No. They Russian roulette it at the person that they're making a deal with sometimes if they don't trust them. And it's their kind of like, if it goes off, you're a rat sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing. So you feel a lucky punk sort of moment, I guess. It's that sort of thing. Or maybe it does even like, maybe it always fires.
It clicks, right?
It always clicks, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't fire. Unless it's meant to be the right person to shoot. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So like it always bangs, but it doesn't actually shoot. So like people expect that there's going to be either a bang or no bang. But the thing that it does is it actually always bangs, but it misses them.
Yeah.
And he goes and collects the bullet.
Yeah, they collect the bullet afterwards. Yeah. And reuses it in some way. Yeah. Magical ammunition of some sort.
Yeah.
So you use it to inform your decisions. I think that would go there. Yeah. Then it says, this object has a relationship with death, either involved with a near-death experience, can be used to take a life, or is used in life and death decisions.
We've done that.
Yeah, I know. We're so on the page. What moments do you save it for? So yeah, I presume like if you're interrogating someone or maybe seeing if they're worthy to join your crew or something like that. If someone's like, I'm feeling very Godfather about it, they come to you on the day of your daughter's wedding,
Big leather desk is exactly what's in my mind right now. Yeah, 100%.
Something extraordinary happened to you the day this object came into your life. How did that event make it lucky?
What if the person that you killed, that was their bullet they were going to shoot you with, and it misses you?
It missed it. Yeah. Like maybe if we're thinking of it like being a magical setting, like maybe Deadlands, right? So you got those sort of cowboys with like undead, all that sort of thing. Maybe again, just you don't have. It's just something that came to mind. But the bullet itself, all these magical bullets, they almost like a patron, right? They shoot when you need to end this at this point. They switch allegiance to you. Yeah, because they're like, well, this person is going to leave the cause. They're backing out on us. We don't give them our power anymore. And so,
maybe that's when they realized that they didn't know about this power until they then did this. So it was like, further betrayal, because they never told them that they had this power in this gun. So it was kind of a shock to them.
I was going to say, in my head, because again, we've been talking blood brothers ever since, I'm like, maybe they were actual siblings. Like this person that eventually, gave us a scar, all that sort of thing, was an older sibling, and they were always like the leader or in charge. And then they made the decision to back out of this life. Leaving our character, and that's when we shifted over to being the leader ourselves. Whoa.
I like that. I like that. And we gained a patron in the process.
I know, we're like, this is great. Ride. Outlaws need a way to get around and get away. You might use a number of vehicles or beasts to help you to get from place to place, but this one is special. So this method of transportation has nearly unmatched. And then 2, we've got speed, stealth, versatility, durability, and intelligence.
My first instinct is a motorcycle because they're cool.
Yeah,
I think. Oh, you think so? I was thinking, but then I was thinking like you mentioned Deadlands, and I was like, okay, like cowboys, and like there was the whole the steel horse I ride from Anna Wanted, but I was also thinking like, okay, but like, what if it's more Mad Maxy? Do you know what I mean? So like more like big monster trucky thing. Do you know what I mean? Like do you know what I mean? A little bit more like over the top sort of thing.
I love that idea. Like again, stealth, no, not so much this one, but definitely I'd imagine like speed.
Or like a dragster. It's like big back wheels. Really like, I'm thinking like Gotham City style now. So it's like over the top, big back wheels. It's black. It's got cool, it's edgelordy sort of stuff. Massive flamethrowers coming out the back. Like kicking out fire. And it's got an engine the shape of like a revolver thingy. Do you know what I mean? So like it's got a huge like
cylinder
revolver thing which shoots flame out of the back. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah, what a style. Very cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So that sounds like speed, maybe a bit of durability. Do we think it's intelligent?
I think it has no durability.
It has no durability. No mind.
That's its weakness. That's like the only weakness. But it's so fast. It can't go around corners. But it's American sort of wasteland thing. I'm thinking now. So like it's just straight roads. No one cares. Like fast around the corner.
I would then pitch that maybe then it does have intelligence, but it's that sort of way of like,
it's Knight Rider.
It could be Knight Rider, but I was thinking more like I don't know if you ever read or watched the movie Christine, that car. So it's that like again, it's just that it doesn't speak or anything like that, but it's just got that obsession of like kill or like it's that sort of bonding sort of thing. Again, it could all be.
Is it called Rubber, the movie about the tire that kills people?
The tire that kills people. Yeah,
okay, I like that. But maybe that's it then. Maybe it can't go around corners. But if this is like extra dimensional or from the patron, maybe it's like a patron's like manifestation as a car sort of thing, or like a what they called in D&D and Hell Riders or something like that. They have in Avernus. Those Avernus.
Oh yes, and
like,
the
powered
big
by a demon
old
thing.
yeah, the horrific big old metal things. Yes.
Yeah, so maybe it's like this sort of thing is like a sort of souped up personification of this demon or whatever that's their patron, and so that it just like rocket ships and then 88 miles an hour turns into flame and then ends up where it needs to be, sort of thing. So it's like
a fireball. You just see it in the distance.
Maybe it just literally is like, and they call it like the bullet or something like that, or
oh yeah.
I had this setting I wanted to do called Bullet Noir like ages ago. It was like, remember I had that idea? So I'm now thinking, this is the car, right? So this is like the Bullet Noir, which is like bang, and it just makes a gunshot sound, and it just goes boom, straight into the distance, and then leaves a trail of fire behind, and then disappears into the night, and then they arrive where they need to be.
This ride has a quirk, and we choose to again. It marks the road wherever it travels. A distinctive smell lingers around it.
Yes.
It physically changes at top speed. The seat has a design no one else would favour. It is much larger or smaller than others of its type.
It smells like gunpowder, clearly.
Oh, yes.
It's like a gunshot, and and maybe like a hint of sulfur for that whole devilly feeling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. So it smells and presumably physically changes, as we were just talking about as well. What secret feature do only you know about? How has it saved your life?
Oh, go on. You have a go at this one.
I'm just trying to think, because it's a bullet, or it goes as fast as a bullet. If it's like one of these sort of like cool-ass cars. Okay. First thought, best thought.
Yeah.
I think there is a very silly rearview mirror chime.
Oh, yeah, like a dice thing. Yeah.
In my head, it's dice, dice, which I know sounds very silly and it's sort of incongruous to what we're doing. But I think like there's a big old hole through one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a spell or a gun.
Yeah.
One of these wizard bullets people, I don't know, that we're doing now. Tried to shoot it and it missed this person by inches. So now what they did when they took in they upgraded their ride, it's bulletproof glass. So I think it saved their life because it said like, you might go as fast as a bullet, but like if you're, you are still weak. So it doesn't do anything. It's not a secret feature necessarily, but like you now have bulletproof glass or a ward around you because of this reminder constantly.
I like how that's maybe like patched over the top of the glass in a really crappy, not crap, but like a rough work way. Like as in like it's just riveted on and it's very much clear like plexiglass on top with the hole still burnt through. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's come because of that one moment of weakness. And then the final one we'll do before we move on, in addition to any more substantial customizations, you have decorated this vehicle in a small way that makes it truly feel like yours. What did you do?
I'm going to ask you another question then.
Yeah.
What is this? Because I think, unless this comes up later, but what is like villains always have, well, I mean, not always, but there's a common thread of like villains having a very like anachronistic like hobby. Or you know what I mean, or like favored item or thing that they're really interested in. It's always like a way that gives them a real human quality. So like, what would that be? And maybe that's how they've decorated it.
Oh, that's fun. I like that. Because that makes me think of in the setting, people whittling or like doing some wood cutting rather than just smoking is the other one that came to mind. Okay. Also, first thought, best thought. Maybe there are bumper stickers.
Yes.
And it's something like, you should see my other car. It's got all my whistling stuff, but it's those sort of weird
I know what you mean.
mottos that you could
Honk
have
if you're happy. I don't know.
Yeah. Honk if you're, I know, a blood brother. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, it's those ridiculous phrases which, again, no one would see if you're going at top speed because you're a bullet. But
the bullet is my Valentine.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I think I like the idea of having like, you could have mottos and change them around. So maybe it is that sort of someone that collects. Yeah, it's almost like the live, laugh, love, but also of the very grim.
I hate it, but I love it. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
So they have that in there. I imagine they have those like a welcome mat that's like home is where the heart is or something like that.
Yes.
Like when you get to their property and it's all chintz. It's like super chintzy. Even though it's all leather, there's like, live, laugh, love. And it's all a little bit like, all that sort of gin is home is where the gin is.
Gin is, yes.
Exactly.
It's wine o'clock somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so maybe it is. Yeah, okay, yeah. This person is like they for reasons we don't know yet. They abide by some very weird positivity messages that like seem really incongruous to what they're doing.
They're always reading a self-help book.
Yeah. Oh, in the back of their car, there's definitely one or two.
The toilet, when you go use the toilet, it's just like all self-help books in the toilet.
Little toilet books. Oh my God. Yes, absolutely.
And they're listening to audiobooks of like, you are the best person you can be. You are a strong, confident
Going
woman.
across the desert in his bullet car. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 100%.
There you go. So it's a possibly a very weird thing. But this is the thing. Maybe the players don't know about this live level until they get invited to the lair or the secret thing. And then you're like, it's very off-putting, right?
Yeah.
And so I like that idea that it's just like a completely different
drinking. They always have to have their turmeric shot, and they're always like into like fad things. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
I love that idea. They're like, ginger or turmeric? And they're like, what? And goes, here. And then you go, oh, I'm fine. No, we have to drink together. It's good for your gut health.
Good for your gut health. Exactly. Kombucha.
Yeah, you don't take care of yourself? Oh, we can have so much fun with that. That's so cool. So you have this badass image.
Anyone?
You have this badass image of someone in a cool ass car. They've got a scar on their hand. They've got this pendant of a bullet, and then they're also like, maybe they're a little bit older, right? Maybe again, this is very, very tropey, but maybe again something that's like we feel pure evil. Maybe there's some AI slop like images of these mottos or something like that. You're like, wait, did you make it? Oh no, I just did magic for it. I just put in a prompt to my magic computers.
Yeah, okay. And they're like, and they're like in love with like fake AI videos of people like singing. Yeah, okay,
they'll turn around and go, look at this, and it's like some sort of weird illusion of them like walking through, but it's clearly like AI, and it's like you never did that. And he goes, no, but it's very good, isn't it? Like it's really captured my likeness. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh no. Awkward. Yeah, okay. I like this.
Okay.
Yes. So they make you feel uncomfortable through all these things. This is cool. All right.
So overall, that's like a style guide. And again, we can accentuate all these things, but that's kind of like what we've done too. Next we have is these 5 things. We'll do 1 or 2 of them, I think, again, just to get the taste of it. But normally you do 5 of these. And for the Outlaw, it says 5 bills to pay. So whilst many characters become villains through ambition, pride, or family, not every villain starts on the wrong track. Some people are pulled slowly towards the underworld by forces beyond their control. Others are held in place, struggling against the unrelated weight of the world. This exercise will help you define bills that make your character desperate enough to want to become an outlaw. Choose the prompts to define the nature of your debt and answer the questions that shape their story. So there's 5 here. I want to, again, if you want to roll and we just go from there, maybe choose 2 of them.
Let's go.
So just roll the d10 and let me know.
So I got an 8.
An 8, so 1,
4. Do you say it was? Is it 8 and 5?
Yeah. I do it sort of 1, 2 for the first one, 3, 4. Okay. So the 8. So this is a bill, the one built on a dream. More than any of the others, this bill is driven by you. Many people who sympathize with your situation might say that this is an unnecessary burden, but that is because they can never understand who you really are. If you fail to keep paying this bill, choose 2. All of your suffering will be meaningless. It will mean a victory for your most hated enemy. The world will never truly appreciate you. You will lose all respect for yourself. Your actions will be truly irredeemable.
This has got to be about the patron, right? Because like maybe in that moment, the decision they made, like maybe they got the gun was pointed at them by their brother, their sibling. They then get contacted like, they're weak. You can be strong. Don't let them get away with this. Stop them, and I will choose you sort of moment. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And everything will be yours, and everything you've dreamt will be yours, sort of thing.
You can still achieve this dream you had together with this other person.
Yeah, it's not too late, right? Something like that. Maybe this was like them giving up, and you still thought that it was possible. Yeah. And they were like, it's not possible. You've got to give this up. It's too late. The cops are on us, sort of thing. And it's like, no, we can still make this. This can still work.
We can do it together. And they're like, you don't need this guy. This person's holding you back.
Exactly. They're holding you back. They're weak. They're giving up before we've built what we can build, sort of thing. all I ask of you is true undenying service for eternity sort of thing, and like I will give you everything sort of
just
thing,
a small favor.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like I'll give you everything if you keep this up for everything, and that's maybe why they're so gut healthy, because they're like they want to stay alive. They don't want this to end.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like that.
Maybe they're hundreds of years old. Maybe this is like they will live for eternity so long as they keep up the.
A bit like a Dorian Gray type thing.
Yeah, if
like
they
a
keep
legend
up
of
whatever they need to keep up, then they still get to stay alive. But also at 150 years old, your gut needs some health. So
I like that idea. So maybe so all your suffering will be meaningless. I think that applies there.
Yeah, because you killed your own brother, you killed your own like family for this. So
what do you think the second one is? Because I like this. I'm just trying to put a thing to it. I mean, it could be like literally like.
What's the second thing again?
So we got it will mean a victory for your most hated enemy. The world will never truly appreciate you. You will lose all respect for yourself, or your actions will be truly irredeemable. I wonder again. We could build it on that self-worth, right? Like you will lose all respect for yourself because, like, all your suffering will be meaningless, and it's like, then who are you? You've wasted this time.
And it's kind of your actions are irredeemable because, like, what you did was sort of irredeemable unless there was something meaningful in it, which is achieving this thing you needed to achieve, whichever one that is. Maybe there is something noble in what they're doing, like that whole thing I say about villains beginning. Maybe this thing they're trying to achieve was originally overcoming the injustice of the city. Like the city doesn't care about us. The city doesn't care about what we believe in or the people that we represent. But the only way we can achieve that is through criminal means because the system's rigged. Do you know what I mean? So like, this is the only way. But your brother went to the other side. They're giving us the money. I don't know. Like the city's going to save us and our family. It's about our family, right? It's like, no, it's bigger than our family. It's about everybody, And that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like
don't you know what I've given up for this? And then that's when you realize they've given up everything for this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The second part of this is this bill costs more than money. It, and choose to, brings you ridicule and scorn from your peers, takes time away from the ones you love, is a constant drain on your health, is an obsession that fills nearly every waking thought, and calls for constant self-denial and sacrifice.
Bit of all of those things, I think, isn't it? But it could be.
I definitely think the drain on your health, because then we can really build into the idea of this person never drinks, right? They go, just water for me when you meet them at a bar. They don't eat meat or something like that. They're pure vegan and just, which again, not to demonize vegans or anything like that. I appreciate all that sort of thing, but I like the idea that they
just super healthy because they just know that their body's really old and they're like trying to sustain it in a healthy way as possible because maybe they're still alive, but like there's something about it that's not perfected. It's not like they're still 30 internally as they are externally.
Yeah, they're not like super buff or anything like that. I think like, like they go, oh, I need to do my 10,000 steps today. But it's not like I must do a CrossFit. I think I don't want to, I feel like, because otherwise they get proper macho too quickly. But I like the idea that they're very selective about their food. I think it's really, and maybe they have a refined palate as a result.
Oh, maybe they were poisoned. Maybe that was something that happened to them, and that's why their guts just ruined by the poison. Like that's how. Maybe that was kind of what something was done to them, and so now they have to like maintain a really healthy diet because their body can't handle it because it's sort of riddled by this poison.
It is realistically it's a poison that somebody did that, but actually maybe it's that metaphor of like, well, you did a bad thing and it's poisoning you.
Oh, I like that even better.
Yeah, but I like the idea that you have to have something grounded, I think, because otherwise it's like it gets too heady. But I like the idea that because of this incident, because of this, is that people don't like you, and you're like, it's because my actions are literally killing, and so being self-aware of it, and so just killing me, I think is interesting. I like that a lot. As well, on top of that, I think maybe it fills every waking thought, all your actions on it as well. When you picture yourself at the end of this process, what do you see? Why is that version of yourself worth so much to you?
Well, that's kind of why I keep going back to this. Something they want to achieve. There's something that they wanted to achieve above, which is only possible through this life. That is sort of noble, feels kind of right. But what that is, don't know.
Here's my pitch for you, because I know, because again we've kind of like skipped around a little bit, so maybe there was that kind of been answered earlier. let's turn it on its head.
Okay.
Maybe they are a leader of a independence like nomad crew, and they've staked up their own claim. I'm thinking cowboys for this, but there's towns and sheriffs and stuff like that. But they've claimed a town, and they are the sheriff. And so that's that sort of thing. It's their justice. But then it's starting to rove, and they're trying to expand their little independent
their land of influence.
Yeah, and it's starting to take over other folks. So you have that idea of like people riding in their bullet cars, taking over. Because the next question is about like who seems to encourage or believe in your dream, who discourages and like
Okay, so this has given me something, right? Mm-hmm. So if they are like maybe were once nomadic and they're trying to create a home for their people, and like they've been roaming for a while. They once had a home a long time ago, before the cataclysm. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And they've been roaming this whole time, and they're like, we must set up a home. And that's why they love all the home is where the heart is, because they're trying to make a home. Because like for them, it's like, it means we have a home now. Like, this is our home.
Oh, that's great.
And like, so there is a nobleness to it.
Yeah.
But also it's like, but they're so dogmatic about it that people still want to roam. Like, it's become their people's way of being for so long that some people still want to roam. This isn't our home. We haven't found it yet. This actually, and maybe it isn't where their home is, but they've decided, no, we're making it here. We'll never find our old home. It's lost.
Yeah.
And some people still want to search for the home. And some people, and they're like, no, we need a home. And it's like built of a trauma. And that's why they're doing this, you know?
I like that. Yeah. I now think that they all have tents, like big ass tents. And so every time they set it up, you go in and there's all these framed pictures of like homes where all this it's the Airbnb but in tent form, and so you got like the sandy desert underneath you, and it's all you still have the welcome mat, you still have things, but you're like, this is weird.
The sand gets in and they hate it. You've got to get it out. Someone's always cleaning out all the sand because they
always
hate
someone
the sand.
Sweeping. Yes, absolutely.
To make it feel like a home. And it's kind of like like the walls are like plaster painted bricks. They're not real, but it makes it look like a fake home. Like, they want it to look like bricks and mortar, but it's not. It's clearly just within a tent sort of thing. And they've got this real like need that's sort of driven inside them.
A weird sort of like 1960s, like
proper,
almost like Fallout
family.
Nuclear family. Yeah. Oh, interesting. That's cool. So so you picture yourself at the end of this process, like you are someone that has a home and a stable life, and that's not just for you but for everyone. Because we could talk about like who is part of this group. Maybe it is the first one that comes to mind is a lot of disillusioned young men and women who are like, oh, no one knows about us, but we're a family together. But everyone's image of their own home is it a huge collective community as what we have, or is it everyone has their own little house, or someone has a shed at the bottom of a garden, all that sort of like.
The concept of home is different for everyone, and they are trying to enforce their idea of what a home is on people.
Exactly. Oh, very good. So we'll do the second part of this. It says, who seems to encourage or believe in your dreams? It sounds like we've got an idea for that. But who discourages you? Are you able to tell which of these figures is truly worthy of your trust?
Well, that's what I think. I think there's got to be a separate subfaction who still disagrees that this is home, and is like, I'm just imagining like a secondary character who is like trying to rile up people who still want to ride. They still want to ride the roads. They still want to find where home is, because it's not here. This isn't. Maybe it's someone else's home. Maybe they kick someone else out.
That's
of
what
their
literally
home.
I was thinking. They go from place to place, and and it's never good enough.
This actually happens a little bit in Drizzt now. I'm realizing, like, one of the barbarians trying to set up home in the 10 towns, and people are like, no, this isn't where we live. You're pretending to live in this place, but we are barbarians that live out in the wilds. We don't settle. This kind of idea. So maybe there's like this idea is like, this isn't who we are. I love that you want this for us, but no, we aren't. We're not this anymore, and we never will be this again. Maybe one day if we find the place, but this isn't our place. This is someone else's place.
Yeah, I think maybe there's that romanticizing this idea of like, obviously, I know we keep going back to like this old west because of the outlaw stuff, but like it is like we are constantly moving. We're constantly, and it's like maybe the story of this person killing somebody to create this faction, to create this stuff. They're like, well, you used to do this a lot and now you don't. And it's like the young, when you said like maybe a subfaction, I imagine it's a young person who's clearly gunning to be the next leader. Our villain is a little bit older and doesn't want to like necessarily crush this rebellion necessarily, because obviously that's going to look really bad, but also he's having to contend with this idea of like, and it's trying to see past, like, because they've got all this drama from this. So it's like, well, this is my home. If you want to be a part of my home, you either stay with me or you get out. Ooh.
Yeah, and knows that if they maybe leave, then it weakens the whole link. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they kind of know that this could be it if they kind of just listened. If they just listened to me, then they'd know this is the right idea. Maybe that's right or wrong, but that's how they feel. Like, they just don't listen enough. They don't understand. I was once like that. I wanted to do this, and I've realized I know the truth. This is the thing.
That reminds me of, I think it's Daredevil's villain. Is it Fisk? The mayor guy who's like, his partner and child get killed. And it's in one of the Spider-Verse films as well.
Yes.
Where he tries to return, because it's like this bad thing happened. So I like the idea that like this thing happened. I don't want it to happen to anyone else. And so, but like by doing these actions, it actually makes you worse.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Because I'm trying to protect everyone. It's like, but the methods you go to, like kicking people out of houses, of their, taking their livelihoods, taking their probably property, and then moving on, devastating it so that no one else can have it. Yeah.
And it's like, that's what happened to us. You're just doing what they did to us, kind of thing.
You'll
like
know
that
better.
Whole thing. You'll know better. We will only find our home when we find our original home, or make a new home where we need to go, and we're not there yet. So it's kind of like they're trying to do this too quickly, maybe, as well. Like, there's that.
If you've got a decent sized group of people, obviously people's interests and they get sort of pulling at it, and it's it could easily end badly for a lot of people. A lot of people get caught up in this sort of like hysteria of wanting to find a home, but also like trying to, but it's got to be like this, and like, too many cooks and all that sort of thing. It's I mean, obviously right now in the world, all this talk about like, whose home is what and all that sort of thing.
Exactly.
It's quite relevant, but I think it's really fascinating, and it's something really interesting to play with, and then making a leader at the top of it who maybe uses possibly very violent methods if they're using guns at people to get them to join. Maybe that's the thing. They force people out of their homes. Say, well, this is us. If you want to stay with us, you can, but you've got to be truthful. And they do the gun thing there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Maybe that's it. Like, they come and take these places, and then they're saying you're either in or you're out, sort of thing. And if they say we're in, I don't trust you.
Yeah,
I don't believe. I need to see
yourself
if you're
to
real.
the cause. Yeah, which is horrible, because then like you're forced into joining this thing, because otherwise you're left in the desert. Oh, this which doesn't even have to be desert. It could be like remote mountains which get very cold at night, and horrible. Let's do one more bill. So we've done. It was 8 you rolled. Roll another d10 and see what else we get.
There's a 6.
6. Okay. I think, I was interested in this one. So this is a bill that's anchored to your heart. We might have answered a couple of these, but it'll be interesting to see what we get from it. So it says, this bill is not a financial burden, but an emotional one. It binds you almost inescapably to a belief or a person. It adds cost to nearly everything you do, even when it is not immediately present. So, first part, this bill comes from, and we choose 2, your family or lineage, your culture or upbringing, a devastating tragedy, the person or thing most beloved to you, your own sense of justice and fairness. Obviously, all we've talked about feels like they can fit all those categories, but is there like 2 you think we would put at the top of the priority list?
I wonder if of all the people, because of this, like this curse or thing you have over that you've lived for such a long time, you're one of the last people that was there when you lost the home, when you knew the world before, or whatever it was, right? So your sense of justice and your sense of morality is built still on that. We talked about Magneto, I guess, that sort of trauma. So but like all these other people don't know. Or maybe there's one other person who is clearly, like, I like the idea, maybe there's one person who's like equally but looks ridiculously old and is an old, like really like crumbly, and they are the only other person, but this person looks like they're in their 30s, whilst this person is like looks older than them by generations, and they're the only other person that knows like what it was like or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Because like in the way I see it now, again, I know I'm pulling all these sort of touchstones. So in Red Dead Redemption 2, that classic I know you've played, but you are a roaming crew, and you have this is where I can't remember his name, but the main guy in it, you're playing like the second in command, and you have the main guy who's like we do all these things, and then there's an older guy who's like, well, we are technically co-owners of the thing, but I think his name's Duke. Duke knows what he wants, all that sort of thing, and it's like clearly this other person does not agree with it, but he's older, and then spoiler, he dies in a thing, and it's really gutting. But then that means that this guy, the main leader, goes off the rails quite significantly because he's unchecked a lot. So having someone there that's remembers stuff, but like doesn't maybe have the same authority, but like is that sort of like little like emotion checker, some like a close advisor, maybe is the person that puts the salve on the hand.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
I like that. Maybe they are somehow related or were somehow older than them, or like, or maybe like a cousin or something.
Yes, it sounds like you're connecting the devastating tragedy and your own sense of fairness and justness. I like the idea that maybe they are like an odd uncle, it's like that sort of like very far related, but they've had to, they are connected purely through the fact they experienced this thing.
The same thing. Yeah.
But maybe this individual, the sort of older individual, has no love for your villain, but they are connected, so they add the sense of duty.
Maybe they were like weirdly younger than them, but now look older than them, which makes it kind of awkward as well in some respects. But they're like, but I still remember. You weren't old enough to understand. It's like, no, I still remember the screams. I can still remember the things that happened.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see two takes on that sort of pain and grief.
Yeah, and their pain, maybe theirs is just pure visceral remembrance of it as a younger child than this person who maybe was like in their teens, and this person was like 8 or something like that. But they're still now like only decades apart and like in their hundreds or something like that. Or something.
No, I like that. That's such a very feels like Interview with a Vampire, where they have a small child vampire who gets older but doesn't physically change.
That's what I was thinking. It's like Preacher, where the son is the old French guy in New Orleans. I was thinking like that kind of thing. Like it's like they're technically younger than them, but they look older and wiser. But they still have and so then they still talk down to them, even though they look older. And like say that they don't understand, but then the point is that actually they still do. And that's it.
This bill often costs you, and then choose to, tremendous pain, deep shame or feelings of inadequacy, opportunities to make your life easier, close relationships, and a sense of emotional stability.
Maybe I like the shame.
Yeah, I feel
because they remind them that what they're doing isn't right. And they know that they're the only one that can tell them that, because they also know.
With that, I agree. I think that's the thing, like, no matter what this person does, they'll never be able to maybe win the respect of this person. Yeah. Right? Because, like everyone else, this person can fob off and be like, no, I know what we're doing. And everyone's like, yes, they were there. But then this other person doesn't say anything or do much. Like, doesn't knows that if they start speaking out, then maybe it's over. But just that hold over you, that shame of inadequacy.
And maybe they know that they can maybe just get away with staying alive enough to remind them, and that's what keeps them alive. Like the reason this person is so old is pure vitriol and the need to remind them, and they don't want to go because they need to just sit in that room silently as an artifact of the past, and they feel like that's their duty. Like
Banquo's ghost, always that reminder there.
Maybe they do die and they still see them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Maybe they died 20 years ago, but they still are seeing that person there, reminding them. Maybe they put the hand out and maybe people see them put their hand out and talk to this person and there's nothing there.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That could be a late development plot later on.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that. Because I think that idea of tremendous pain works well here. Because what happens when this person does die? And because I can imagine them being like, they've always been part of the furniture of this weird live, laugh, love, or live, laugh, slaughter is what I thought. I finally got that. As there you go. That's my motto. So people maybe are feeling that loss of that person, even if they didn't agree with them. But you, as the leader, can't do anything about it because they're like, they're like, oh, they're gone. I'm now unchecked, but you still see them. You still. Yeah. Oh, nice.
I've just got it. Slime, sloth, slaughter.
There you go. Done. That's the name of the setting. What people in your past or present do you most associate with this bill? How do you feel about them, and how do you want them to feel about you? So this could be like a general thing of the community. We kind of talked about it a little bit.
We have, actually. I think it's quite simple. I think it is that person as well. It's kind of that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, again, later on when we have this moment where this person maybe does pass, your outlaw maybe tries to ask for forgiveness or tries, sit at the bedside and maybe nothing is said. And that's probably the worst part. You know? So... Ooh.
Yeah, maybe they spit on them or something like that. It's like even like at the last moment they say all they wanted to say. Like they never said it and they know they're about to die. And it's like, well, now it's too late. I can't stay alive anymore. So I'm just going to tell you straight. This is wrong. You're horrible. And you've ruined everyone. If you don't change now, it's never going to be good for us, sort of thing. And it's that kind of like damning end.
You don't get my blessing. You don't. Yeah, you did. You've not done anything. You're nothing. And it builds back on that. All the stuff we talked about before.
Yeah, maybe they like go, what are you going to do? Kill me now, sort of thing. And maybe that even gets to that point of like, you wouldn't even, what would it do?
They have the gun. The bullet doesn't shoot them.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
See, I told you, sort of thing. Yeah. And then they just die on their own. They die of their own volition, sort of thing. Yeah, and then that's the end.
I'll go out on my own terms, not yours.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Well, that's just literally us skimming the surface of the Ultimate RPG Villain's Backstory Guide.
Well, it's good. I enjoyed that.
That was good, wasn't it? Yeah, we could have talked for hours about creating this character and get in the weeds and stuff. But then you go, like, instantly we have a very well-rounded, like, okay, scary character, but also has this very unsettling thing to do with the slogans and stuff like that. But then there's a reason behind it. It's not just like a thing we just thrown out and be like, oh, they have like it's always 1 o'clock or it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
I like that. That's good fun. That's a good book.
Yeah.
That James D'Amato knows kind of what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah, they. I mean, like, I'm like, oh, more books are excellent content for us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are the book club, right?
We are the book club. So feel free to, if you enjoyed this episode, go and check out the Ultimate RPG Villain Backstory Guide. Quite a mouthful, I'll appreciate, but it's all in all good bookshops. But as we're wrapping up, Hamilton, where can we find you on the internet? Anything you'd like to plug as we finish off and sign off for this episode?
Yeah, what kind of Theatre Macabre everywhere, Theatre Dash or Theatre _ Macabre, Theatre Macabre, if you just go to that, search that, you'll find me. I've actually got a new YouTube kit bashing video that's coming out today, actually, in an hour before this recording is recorded, so you'll be able to figure that time out. But it's, I've if people like Warhammer, it's like they have a chaos version of things called dreadnoughts, which are called hell brutes. They're like these big hulky things. I think they're boring. I've made one that's disgusting, and and it's actually was come up because of the game I made, the Ironclad, the Forbidden Psalm game that we made. I wanted to make a character for it, so I started with this. I thought, this is boring. Let's make it disgusting. So you can find that on my YouTube channel, and obviously Wraithborn. You can buy PDFs from the website, and soon all Kickstarters will be done, which means soon we'll know how many physical copies we have, which means soon you might be able to buy one.
Soon.
Like in April time, you'll be able to buy them physically as well.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, whilst you're wondering, where can I buy it? You can also go and figure out where. What are you rolling? What am I rolling? I don't know.
Are you rolling?
What are you rolling? Because that could be where.
I know. I like what are you rolling is like there's some sort of like shock reaction to my podcast.
What are you rolling?
What are you rolling?
To the GM, like, what are you rolling?
What are you rolling? Stop it. What am I rolling is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast where we do lots of different RPG systems and interviews with game designers. Yep. Both. I mean, to be fair, the interview I did with James and Dylan is going to be on this channel as well. So you probably have already listened to that. Kariko is still ongoing, and we've got some other systems on the way. So yeah, go check them out. But yeah, it's hopefully again, this is such a cool villain that we created. Maybe they'll turn up at some point. I don't know. I'm sure there's a Mad Max style system out there that we can
100%. There is actually, I did a collaboration with Scott McDonald, who's did a Mork Borg setting called Wasteland Degenerates that this could possibly work for. It's a Mork Borg post-apocalyptic Mad Max, but very much more like cyberpunk nomads-esque sort of thing. So sort of like that would work really well in. So maybe we could run that. Yeah,
maybe. That sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Hamilton, for joining me for this episode of DM's Book Club. I will be back next week. But until then, we will
see you on the flip side.
Bye, everyone. Bye.